So this is what happens when the opposite side is a mighty multimillionaire people having backdoor connections. The person suffers for justice. Even though I'm a
Meenakshi,
lawyer, I am suffering for last more than
Meenakshi,
15 years.
we have with us Advocate Meenakshi Jain. Meenakshi Jain is a practicing advocate in the Supreme Court of India, but she's also a daughter who has been fighting to get justice for her father for the past 15 years. Welcome, Advocate Meenakshi Jain. Meenakshi ji, please tell us a little about yourself and your father, Mr. Pawan Kumar Jain.
I am a practicing advocate in Delhi courts, and my father was also a lawyer. He was a diabetic patient and a cardiac patient. He had a immediate problem of an abscess near his anus, which is called perianal abscess, for which he first saw his regular cardiologist, whom he was consulting for last 4 5 years. And this cardiologist, Vinayak Agarwal, referred to Dr. Saket Goel in Apollo only. And this surgeon, a gastroenterologist, asked us to come on 6th March 2009 in emergency so that we get a room easily. So at 1 p.m., we got admitted in emergency at Apollo Hospital, and both the surgeon and this cardiologist saw the patient, and they said he needs emergency surgery, for which they have booked the OT for 3:30 p.m. Immediately consent forms were signed by me, and a high risk cardiac clearance was given by this cardiologist. This anesthesia check, everything was done by 2:40 p.m., but he was not taken for the surgery. And I was told, since no room is available, and unless and until we get a room, the billing cannot be done. So we have to wait till we get a room to go to OT for surgery. So at 7:30 p.m., they said general category ward is available. Either you take that or you go home and come tomorrow. So we took that in the hope that now surgery would be done. But they deferred the surgery, saying that we are giving him blood transfusion. His INR is low, 1.6, and surgery cannot be performed. And thereafter, on 7th March at 9 a.m., they took him for surgery. The INR was still 1.6. They conducted a surgery after a delay of 20 hours. During that time, his infection was rising. And after the surgery, he was taken to ICU. So no room was required. He remained there, and on 13th March, he was shifted to private room. When 12th March, he was shifted to private room. On 13th March, they said we are taking him to OT for debridement in the OT, which was actually not required. They just wanted to make money because earlier he had gone from general ward. So this time, no clearance was taken, no cardiac, this INRI, no test was done, and he was taken to OT for debridement, and he was brought back. During the time of first surgery, his antiplatelet drug, which is a blood thinner, had to be stopped in view of the surgery. But the cardiologist, in consultation with the surgeon, stopped all cardiac medicines, which the patient was taking for last 5 6 years. All medicines were stopped. This cardiologist, who was given referral
Meenakshi
for
ji, when were the cardiac medicines stopped? Before the very first
on
surgery.
6, yes, on 6 March itself,
But that's before the
because
first surgery.
yes, because earlier they had planned for 3:30 p.m. on 6 March. So all these medicines were stopped. This cardiologist, who was given referral for continuous care, he signed off on 12th March saying no medical intervention is needed, so I'm signing off. He did not even bother to evaluate his cardiac status. No echo, no ECG was done to see his cardiac status. No
Meenakshi, are you
medicine was
saying that
authorized.
he was a cardiac patient for so many years, and in spite of that, his cardiac health
5 years.
wasn't continuously monitored?
Yes, which was monitored before surgery. On 6th, it was echo ECG was done, which was very good for a 70-year-old person. And that is why he gave cardiac consent, though it was high risk cardiac consent, clearance. And on 12th March, he signed off without evaluating the cardiac status, without finalizing the cardiac medicines. And thereafter, the patient was taken on this debridement on 13th March. From 15th March onwards, they are writing the patient is doing well, his BP is normal, so, wound is healing, everything. And still, nobody bothered to see that all his cardiac medicines are stopped. They are not being given to him at all. So this cardiac patient who had gone for non-cardiac surgery, his all his cardiac medicines were completely discontinued for 3 weeks. No cardiac monitoring, no cardiologist came to see. The surgeon under whom he was admitted, even he did not bother to see that the medicines are not being given. So ultimately on 27th March, he suffered a heart attack. And like he was very unconscious. He did not speak the whole day. So I called this cardiologist to come and see the patient. He refused to come. He sent somebody else. He performed bedside ECG and said he suffered a heart attack. We are taking him to ICU. The moment he landed in ICU, all the medicines were restarted. And on asking the doctor on duty in ICU, has he suffered heart attack, because all these medicines were not given to him for 3 weeks, he kept quiet. He kept staring at me. He kept quiet. He did not answer. And they kept him heavily sedated, and all these medicines were being given. Ultimately, on 30th March, he again in the morning suffered second heart attack. When this cardiologist came, he did echo, all these ECG echo tests, and then he said, I'm taking him for angiography. He took him for angiography without realizing that the hemoglobin, which was normal during the first surgery, during the second surgery, was on 27th March, on 30th March, 7.5, which is very low. And angiography at 7.5 hemoglobin is contraindicated as per the standard medical protocol.
What do you mean by contraindicated?
Contraindicated is as per the standard medical protocol at 7.5 hemoglobin. You cannot take the patient for angiography. In cardiac patients, the hemoglobin has to be more than equal to 10. This is the standard form. And after bringing him to from angiography, cath lab, to the ICU, the ICU doctor noted that his hemoglobin is 7.5, and even he wrote, give him blood transfusion and keep his hemoglobin more than equal to 10. After angiography, they realized it that, and within a gap of 4 or 5 days, hemoglobin had dropped so down. Nobody bothered to see what is the cause of this, why hemoglobin has gone down. So then hemoglobin was given blood transfusion, but that was no use. It was too late. The patient suffered a final cardiac arrest on 31st March in the morning, and he passed away at 10:30 a.m.
Meenakshi ji, the patient, how many cardiac arrests did your father have to suffer before the hospital decided that better care needs to be given? Because as you're saying that after the first cardiac arrest, his cardiac medicines were resumed. But in spite of that, you told me that there were instances when the cardiologist refused to come back to check up on your father. Could you please shed some
That was
light?
on 27th. That was on 27th. After first heart attack, they restarted all the medicines when he landed up in the ICU. Then on 30th March, he suffered second heart attack. Then this cardiologist came and he took him for angiography without even checking the blood tests, which were done regularly every day in the morning and evening, that his hemoglobin was 7.5. He should not have been taken for angiography. And after angiography, they are giving him blood transfusion. Why not after first heart attack? To prevent a second one. After second heart attack, you are taking him from angiography. Thereafter, you are giving him blood transfusion, which was of no use. And on 31st March, he suffered cardiac arrest and they could not revive him. And he passed away at 10:30 a.m.
Meenakshi ji, you had previously told me that multiple a medical board and individual doctors have said that, claimed that there was a significant negligence on the part of the hospital, the Apollo hospital and its doctors. Could you shed some more light on that?
Yes, I had consulted many doctors who agreed that there is negligence, but nobody came forward to give me opinion in writing. For going ahead with legal remedy, you need an opinion. So one of the doctors, Dr. Vijay Anand, who retired from a government hospital and was a surgeon, he read the complete medical file of 625 pages, and he pointed out the points of negligence. First was this delay in surgery, which was 20 hours, and he said there was no indication why it was delayed. And this INR thing giving him 4 units of fresh frozen plasma was of no help, because INR remained 1.6 when he took them for him for surgery after 20 hours. Secondly, this blood thinner medicines and rest of the medicines, they should have been restarted within 24 to 48 hours and seen what is the status now. These medicines cannot be indefinitely stopped in a for a cardiac patient. So second is this, and then third was this this hemoglobin, very low hemoglobin within a span of 4 days. Why this happened? On 23rd, when it was last checked, the hemoglobin was around 13. So in within a span of 4 5 days, it went down to 7.9, 7.8, 7.5. It was progressively going down. So nobody bothered. They are conducting checks, but nobody bothered to read these reports and put their heads together and find out the cause and then give a proper treatment for it. And then this the even they said that angiography was contraindicated. With this opinion, I approached the state commission first, state consumer forum, and they've formed a medical board of Maulana Azad Medical College, and that board also said there is delay of 20 hours in conducting surgery, unexplained delay. Nothing in the progress sheet to explain why they had conducted surgery so late in spite of infection, this TLC rising so high. And then there is this medicines. Again, they say they should have been restarted. There is nothing on the record that these medicines were ever given after the surgery. Then third, they say this is angiography is contraindicated because hemoglobin was very low. So it could not, they
Meenakshi ji,
say,
you are saying that the Maulana Azad Medical College report echoed what Dr. Vijay Anand said.
yes, because
We
they said,
also, Meenakshi ji, we also came across reports from the Delhi Medical Council and Delhi's Department for Health and Family Welfare, which have given a clean sheet to the doctors from the Apollo Hospital and said
one
that
thing
there
I
was
want
no medical negligence. What do you have to say about
One
that?
thing I want to say, Maulana Azad has categorically said that this low hemoglobin and stopping of the medicines has caused hazardous result to the cardiac status of the patient, jeopardized. These are the very strong words which are used by the Maulana Azad. And when I approached Delhi Medical Council with these two opinions, they have completely ignored these two opinions. And in 18 pages, they have written different excuses. They have failed to answer what my queries were. And they have given a totally new dimension to the case to shield these doctors and corporate hospital, in as much as they say that there was sepsis and the patient suffered from septicemia and there was multi-organ failure, whereas the death summary doesn't even mention sepsis.
The death summary from the hospital.
From the hospital doesn't even mention sepsis. So how can they say there was septicemia? They do not say there was sepsis, there was multi-organ failure, nothing. They say the patient was, after surgery, was healing well, everything. Still, they do not answer why the medicines were not restarted. Even the DMC fails to answer why the medicines were not restarted. And then they say multi-organ failure. They do not say. They say it was sepsis. Later on, they say it was myocardial infarction which caused the death. So how did that happen? It was a non-cardiac surgery. So DMC has only tried to shield the doctors, and the cardiologist who was sitting in DMC as an expert member, the same doctor is sitting in the next board, which is formed by the police uh, through Delhi government. Same person, Dr. Jamal Yusuf, he is sitting in both the boards.
In
This only
the
means,
Delhi's Department for Health and Family Welfare Board.
yes. So his presence in both the boards casts serious doubt on the so-called decision and opinion of the boards, these two, DMC decision and the Delhi government board.
So you
And it is
alleging
in just one line. Delhi government is just in one line. They do not say anything. It is very cryptic.
Meenakshi ji, you are alleging that the Delhi Medical Council's report is flawed, is inaccurate. Has any court cast aspersions or has questioned the merit of the Delhi Medical Council? Because you told me that the Saket District Court has also questioned the merit of
Yes.
the.
The Saket District Court Metropolitan Magistrate at the time of registration of FIR also pointed out that this third opinion, this third decision of the Delhi Medical Council is inconsistent with and contrary to earlier two opinions of Maulana Azad and Dr. Vijayan. The judge has categorically mentioned and directed SHO to register FIR and investigate the matter, because apart from allegations of medical negligence, there are allegations of tampering of the record. Thereafter, the present Metropolitan Magistrate on 7th September 2024, while summoning the accused under 304A, that is causing death by negligence, has said that DMC decision is very contrary. They do not answer all the relevant questions, and the magistrate has referred to Maulana Azad, referred to Dr. Vijay Anand, referred, all the four medical opinions have been discussed, and thereafter, considering all the points, has summoned the accused for 304A, causing death by negligence, though tampering they have not been summoned yet.
Meenakshi ji, in where all had complaints been registered by you, and what is the status of your complaint in each scenario?
I see, for a complaint of medical negligence, three remedies are available. I availed all the three remedies. First, I approached the State Consumer uh, Forum that time, and they formed the medical board of Maulana. Opinion came. The matter was there for 10 years. Thereafter, I was told to go to civil court on the application of this cardiologist. I approached the National Commission after here remaining there for 3-4 years due to pandemic. The court passed a very good order saying that it has to be decided logically on merits, and the case was remanded back to State Commission. But in State Commission, it's more than a year, but the case has not come up for hearing because the files are all missing from there. So this is what happens when the opposite side is a mighty multimillionaire people having backdoor connections. The person suffers for justice. Even though I'm a lawyer, I am suffering for last more than
Meenakshi
15 years.
said that you are a lawyer who has been battling this for 15 years. It's obvious that the battle is very different, considering your legal acumen, from what an ordinary person is managed to put up. And yet, for the past 15 years, the doors of justice have been shut on you. How frustrating is it for you as a lawyer? How much of faith in the Indian judiciary do you lose with each passing year?
It is really very frustrating. 15 years I'm running from here and there, pillar to post, and the state machinery has really frustrated me. And like, whether it is Delhi Medical Council, whether it is Delhi Police, whether it is, even forensics lab, all their results have been manipulated because the opposite party is very strong. They have money power, they have connections from top to bottom. They are manipulating everything. They are interfering in investigation, even the judiciary. I am very sorry to say, I have been let down by judiciary as well. There have been times When in open court, the judges have allowed my appeal and then reserved the order. And after 5 weeks, I get the order, my appeal is dismissed. So it has been very frustrating, a very strong case, and I'm not getting justice.
Meenakshi ji, you told me that in a previous conversation, you told me that your family hasn't even begun to grieve your father's death, because only once the case is settled, only once you know that your father has gotten justice, that you would be able to process it, you would be able to fully grieve his demise. What do you have to say about that?
See, as far as I am concerned, my grief is lying somewhere at the back of my mind because I'm so involved in these cases, running here from here to there. One day DMC, then lower court, this meeting, different officials and all. And there is no time to grieve. There's no time. Though, there have been instances where the courts tell me that you don't argue your case because you will get emotionally involved. But the courts don't realize why I have to come and argue. Because there have been instances where my counsel has colluded with the other side. So this is all is happening. And I am fighting not just for myself, I am fighting for other victims who do not have resources, who have no resource to come to courts every day, to go to lower courts, high court, Supreme Court. Being a lawyer, I have that resource. So I want that, this medical profession should be accountable. There is a big nexus between these big corporate hospitals, state medical councils, and the local police. You go to local police instead of following the guidelines of the Honorable Supreme Court and going to a doctor of a government hospital, they run to DMC. And the DMC manages with the corporate hospital. So this all is a big nexus.
Meenakshi ji, you have been fighting for 15 years, as you have said. What is it that you hope to achieve from this long, arduous battle that you have been waging?
I just want that it should be a precedent. Doctors should know that when patients consider them as God, then they should not just think themselves as God. They are God because they have something in their hands to provide care, treatment to the patient. First of all, they are so rude. You are paying so much, but you cannot ask them one question. They feel that you are doubting them. They will shout at you, scream at you, misbehave with you, but they will not answer your queries. So they should know they are accountable. It is not that they have to just bring in targets for their hospital. There is no medical accountability at all. This has become not a profession. No more it is a profession, noble profession. It has become a commercial business. They have to bring in patients, they have to bring in targets for the hospital to run the corporate hospitals. This corporatization of the hospitals is really killing the patients. You have
Meenakshi ji,
seen the kidney racket, everything.
Meenakshi ji, on a concluding note, who was Pawan Kumar Jain? Who was he to you? Who was he to your family, to his wife, to the society? Who was Mr. Pawan Kumar Jain?
Besides being my father, besides being husband to my mother, he was I would say, a great human being who always helped people. He has done a lot of cases pro bono for even doctors.
He was a
You
lawyer.
know, he was a lawyer. He was on government panel also. Even the society where he was living, he helped the neighbors and everything, and a very jovial person. He had a zest for living. He was our reason to live. He was our reason to smile. We are just two daughters and his wife, three people, and he was our world. He is my world. We cannot celebrate any function and anything without remembering him. We don't feel like celebrating anything. He has four grandsons. The two of them are older, so they remember him. The younger ones miss when they hear all these stories, so they miss the love of their grandfather. And had the person gone his natural way, it is acceptable. Having seen him for regular 27 days suffering in the hospital, we took him there being a super they insist we are a super specialty hospital. Even though my father said, I don't want to go to Apollo, they are going to kill me. And we
Meenakshi,
regret taking him there.
Meenakshi ji, thank you so much for sharing with us. You have been in a battle for 15 years for justice. I hope, I wish you the very best in this battle. I hope justice prevails. Thank you, Meenakshi ji. Thank you.